Hey everyone, welcome back to your new box office prediction video. Jumping into it this week with a very big Fantasy Movie League shout out, because after a couple of weeks of only a few people nailing that perfect lineup, I've got a whole list of people. Here they are. It is a whopping 27 players who nailed the perfect lineup this time around. Job well done to all of you. I am not too far behind. I may not have been on this list for a good while now, but I'm playing the long game, and I'm still in the top 10 with the predictions with Perri League, and that's good enough for me. And you know what else is good enough for me, for now at least, is getting 4 out of 5 on my rankings last week. And of course, we had Mission Impossible Fallout coming out on top again with a very impressive $35.3 million Weekend 2 haul. Then it was Disney's Christopher Robin, which came in a bit under expectations with $24.6 million. And the same goes for The Spy Who Dumped Me, which took number 3 with a fairly disappointing $12.1 million. And then after that, we had Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again. As predicted with that one, that percent change came down a good deal, and the movie made another $9 million, and The Equalizer 2 also held on strong with $8.8 million, and in the end, newcomer The Darkest Minds just never even stood a chance, because that was another disappointment this time around. It made just $5.8 million, and that was only good enough for an 8th place start. Rolling into this week's predictions now with Dewey right by my side, but I am praying he does not sit on my notes. It's going to be a tough one right off the bat, because number 5, I think it's going to come down to one of two movies. It's either going to be BlacKkKlansman or Slender Man, and I have decided to give the edge to BlacKkKlansman, so my number 5 this time around is Slender Man. This is going to be a curious one to keep an eye on this week, and there's a good deal of drama. There was the issue with the distributor, there's a lawsuit, there's a good deal of backlash surrounding the movie for existing at all, and I, for one, am a little put off by that. But I guess I can just say morbid curiosity at this point, because I will probably wind up seeing it this weekend. And I think there are a number of horror genre fans out there who are going to be drawn to this one as well, because it's been about a month since the first Purge. But even then, I still don't think it's going to make that much of an impression on the box office this weekend. Getting into the number, though, I'm looking at another Joey King star. It was the movie Wish Upon. That one came out last summer in about mid-July, and it opened up with $5.5 million. I do think Slender Man has two things going for it, though, that could put it above that amount. One, how familiar people are with the Slender Man creepypasta, and 2, less competition. So if that winds up happening for Slender Man and it tops Wish Upon, I think it could wind up coming close to the 2015 movie The Gallows and post roughly $9 million for its first weekend in theaters. Now it's on to that number 4 pick, and of course, that is where I have BlacKkKlansman. Part of the reason that I placed BlacKkKlansman above Slender Man right off the top was just looking at early ticket sales. It does look like BlacKkKlansman will well outpace that movie. Plus, on top of that, it's got a lot of things going for it. You've got great reviews, early Oscar buzz, Spike Lee's name, and then on top of that, I think the promotional campaign did a great job of getting really eye-catching material out there. So with all of that in mind, I do think that BlacKkKlansman might wind up posting a $7,000 per theater average this weekend, which is just a little bit behind what The Butler started with when that movie opened up in August of 2013. So if that's how things play out for BlacKkKlansman, it's going to post $10.5 million for its first weekend in theaters. Now for my number 3 pick for the weekend, it is Disney's Christopher Robin. So yeah, Christopher Robin didn't open as strong as some expected last weekend, but I think it could be in good shape, and I think that a cinema score is a very good sign that Christopher Robin could have some legs. Immediately my mind went to Paddington for this one. So Paddington opened up. Weekend 2, it dropped just about 35%. Not very much at all, and it's something that I think that Christopher Robin could come close to repeating. So Paddington was a January release, Christopher Robin is not, and the only thing that I think could be working against Christopher Robin with matching that percent change is the introduction of Dog Days. And I don't think Dog Days is making a whole lot of money, but I think it could take a fraction of the family-friendly spotlight away from Christopher Robin, so that makes me want to bump up the percent change to 40%, and if that's the hit the movie takes, it's still making another $14.5 million. Now we are on to the top 2 spots, and here's where things get complicated again, because is it going to be The Meg or is it going to be Mission Impossible Fallout? I think it's going to be Fallout, so my number 2 is The Meg. I think I found a pretty good movie to compare this one to this weekend. It happens to be another early August release, a movie that cost a nice chunk of change to make, but not nearly as much as The Meg. And it was also a movie that had blockbuster expectations, possibly the chance at turning that movie into a franchise, and it was The Dark Tower. When that movie opened up, it did disappoint a bit, and it only took $19 million to start, and that happens to be right where I think The Meg is going to land, so weekend 1, I'm giving The Meg $19 million. And now, of course, that brings us over to our number 1, and it is Mission Impossible Fallout. So we already know that Mission Impossible Fallout is outpacing Rogue Nation, but Rogue Nation can still help with its percent change trend. So looking at that movie, weekend 2, don't steal my papers, weekend 2, that movie dropped 48.7%. Then when you look at the weekend 3 number, that came all the way down to 39.7%. I don't think that Fallout is going to see a drop that significant, but if its percent change comes down from 42.3%, which was last weekend's drop, to, let's say, 37%. That means this movie is taking that top spot with another $22 million. That brings us to our recap now. I've got Mission Impossible Fallout topping the charts with $22 million. The Meg coming in at number 2 with $19 million. Christopher Robin taking number 3 with $14.5 million. BlacKkKlansman opening up at number 4 with $10.5 million. And then Slender Man rounding out the top 5 with $9 million. There you guys go. Those are my predictions. Now I leave it to you. Hit that comment section below. Share your top 5s right there. And as always, don't forget to head over to Fantasy Movie League. Make your picks right there. You can find the URL and the password to join the Predictions with Perri League if you're not already on board in the description section of this video. And now to conclude, we've got 3 special Patreon shoutouts to give today, and they go to Aviel, Rick, and Lewis. This trio is on my GChat tier, and I have wholeheartedly enjoyed talking with all 3 of you, so thank you so much for being such a pleasure to chat with, and thank you for being here at all, and thanks to everybody else out there watching this video. Don't forget to like and share it, and I'll see you next weekend with more box office predictions.